Good day, everyone. This is the Security Threat Insights weekly group discussion on October the 12th or 13th, if you're in Australia, on that side of the meridian. And Jonathan was talking about a long-standing issue. We skipped planning breakdown A, that's about disabling the surveyor on Kano. And we skipped into vulnerabilities GraphQL, not graphical. Query does not return vulnerabilities. So Jonathan, take it away. Where were we?
All right. So there's this issue that is in the notes here. I had started because the vulnerabilities query only pulled vulnerabilities from the instance security dashboard, which if you like, Mehmet makes a valid point saying, if you actually read the documentation, that's what it says it does. But it's just kind of strange that a global vulnerabilities call only pulls from a certain group. And so we down lower, we're talking about adding the capability in the instance security dashboard call to pull the vulnerabilities for that, for the instance security dashboard. We already have group, we already have project. So we were talking about moving the vulnerabilities to the dashboard call and deprecating the actual vulnerabilities call. And so that's actually suggested by Savas in a similar issue where he was suggesting group, project, instance, and pipeline vulnerabilities being the same call, but we can't really, the pipeline one is different because that's security findings and they get pulled a little bit differently than the vulnerabilities themselves.
This one here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I don't think we ever quite decided on that one. But yeah, so you have group.vulnerabilities, project vulnerabilities, and then just like the top level vulnerabilities. So what we really would like to go forward with, between me and Mehmet, is deprecate vulnerabilities and just go with the instance security dashboard and add that to the instance security dashboard call. I was hoping to have some front end guys here, but
I was going to ask, in order to do that, you need some feedback from front end.
We'd like it. If that's going to suffice for that second issue, I'm actually probably going to close this issue and just
in favor of the second one.
In favor of the second one, I think
it's better explained, isn't it?
It's better explained. The discussion is kind of morphed into what the second issue would be more likely, just aligning all of our GraphQL vulnerabilities calls.
So maybe Shubhashis, were you about to say something?
So it is. So we are now concerned about whether this link a call is used in anywhere in the front end or not. That's why.
Well, right now, it's vulnerabilities is being used by the front end, and for the instance security dashboard. Just kind of looking at the second here, I think we wanted the group. So we have group, project, group, and instance security dashboard. And getting rid of the top level vulnerabilities to kind of clear out any kind of misunderstanding, confusion about what it should be pulling or what it should not be pulling.
May I inquire, is the proposal in Savash's issue aligned with what you and Mehmet were thinking? Or
it's a little bit different. What Savash is recommending is using that top level vulnerabilities call there to have a security center flag, which is actually something I had suggested in the other one. But being able to put project ID and group ID, and it would remove the constraint of the vulnerability, the top level vulnerabilities call being only for instance security center. So I don't think it's too different than my initial suggestion on that first issue.
That's cool.
For,
So,
yeah,
sorry,
so the
sorry,
front
Shabash.
end, sorry to interrupt you. For the servers, what I can understand is like it's consolidating all the queries into one, right? Into like the only keeping the vulnerabilities one for project, group, instance, everything.
Yeah. The one downside of that is I feel like, you know, keeping the top level projects and getting the vulnerabilities for the project, I guess to me it is kind of weird to have a top level vulnerabilities call, because a vulnerability has to belong to something. You know, it's these vulnerabilities belong to this group. These vulnerabilities belong to this project. These vulnerabilities belong to this instance security center. You don't really just like pull, you know, like information on a set of vulnerabilities.
Are you concerned with the potential volume of records that could be in scope for that query?
That is part of it. That we do need to limit how many. I mean, it's the same thing for the group vulnerabilities and these it's instance security, where you just pull a ton of vulnerabilities at one time and it can kind of overload the database query. Same reason why we get some of these 500s.
Because if you're an admin and you hit that endpoint at the instance level, you're basically going to receive all the vulnerabilities in every project.
Yeah, so you would. So one of the restrictions on this call is it would have to have one of the flags, either group, project, or, you know, insecurity center. It would have to have one of them, otherwise it'd be an invalid call, because otherwise you're pulling all the vulnerabilities you can see in every project, which no one should be doing that.
I don't know. Do you have
in one call? In one call.
Well, do you still have the pagination issues with GraphQL? Or?
I mean, that's pulling a bunch of vulnerabilities at one time, and that would be trying to sort it all through like the severity, the activity.
I want to see this being used in the front end. I would see this being used as a sort of integration thing. Like somebody wants to clone all that to a different system. They want to extract it from GitLab. There would be a way to enable that, but I don't think we have to worry too much, because you always have the option of listing all the groups and then making individual calls for each group.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So just you know, hammering out the final path forward on this thing was the main point, and trying to bring this up, getting the front end what they wanted out of it as well, because they want a single call. That's what they want. They want to be able to have a single call to limit how many different places they're trying to call this thing from the front end.
Yeah, there's a bit of complexity, if I understand it. There's a big complexity added on the front end due to that. They gotta, you know, basically stitch together different query fragments in order to use these different things, and they see an opportunity to just, this could be the same.
Yeah.
But it needs to work on the back end. I think the ball is in our court on this one.
Yeah.
Sadly, it's not very high in our priorities, right? We currently working on the stability issues. All of you have enough on their plates. If the next steps are to put a proposal, basically put a proposal and refine, then I think we're okay.
Okay.
Am I oversimplifying this?
No, I don't think so. I think we just have to make a decision. It's like, this is the proposal. This is how we should go in. I'm willing to go ahead and do that. Go ahead and put a proposal out there on this issue saying, hey, let's do this proposal.
I'm not opposed to that. Yeah. If you want to do
Yeah.
that while you wait for a build or for GDK to do its thing.
Yeah.
No.
Right now with Sentinel, like, man, running tests with Sentinel, like I ran a test and my computer was going to take off.
Wow.
I had to buy one of these. Like it's a stand, and it's actually quite warm now. Like without one of these, MacBooks are just useless. The thermal CPU, I forget what it's called, but it just limits. It still cycles from a CPU, so it cools down.
No, what you got there now is you can run some tests and then you can cook some eggs. You know, like I got a little like a griddle.
Jonathan is on fire today.
After his PostgreSQL.
PostgreSQL.
Sorry, yeah, PostgreSQL.
Yes, that was the other thing that we decided is that we're going to start calling PostgreSQL.
Yeah,
that was Tiago's.
We have an issue. We have an issue for that. The proposal. I'll stop recording. I think we reached the end of the.
We have reached our end
of what people might even want to watch. So let me stop this.